Welcome, collective, all signs. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your collective reading. I'm doing this after the full moon's energy in Leo and well ahead of the next new moon in Aquarius. And we're going to put a lot of that aside, and I'm just allowing the cards to tell me what I believe I'm resonating with right now for you. And so I've already pulled two oracle cards, one from the Egyptian sacred animals and the other from the soul's journey. And the first card I got out was patience. I accept that everything happens in divine order. I think this is particularly speaking to me about the external disarray, chaos, confusion, heavy-handed oppression, physical oppression, violence, regulatory violence against citizens in the world. This is certainly relevant in the US, but it is relevant in many parts of the world as well. And how one maintains one's integrity, particularly given the work that many of you that I'm speaking to have been doing on understanding what your best path forward is. And you're very much in tune with the idea that a spiritual path is not a path outside of a community. So that you are a spiritual or conscious individual within a community where you make a contribution and are giving and receiving, sharing resources. This patience means that you're seeing more clearly every problem, every debate, every disagreement, every argument in a clearer way, and are understanding that it is within your means to solve problems, particularly when you recognize your community members, team members, partners as agents towards the same improved environment, better world, better understanding, more authentic experience in the world. And the bull, number 2, immediately resonates for me around the planet Uranus moving direct in Taurus. So it's been in Taurus for a while, and it will continue to be in Taurus for quite a while. However, what's important about this particular clarity with the direct motion of the planet is the way in which we have been understanding the power, the physical and spiritual power that is our embodiment, our strength, our courage, and also the ways in which we are understanding the extent to which we can be in our bodies, that the real work of healing, the bringing it through from simply awareness to a lived understanding and healing is through paying attention to our bodies, paying attention to our homes, our communities, our physical world, the world of action and experience that guides us every day and for which we have come to Earth to experience. So this is about being in your body and understanding the healing, which may be jarring, it may be disruptive, it may be awarenesses that have completely reshaped the narrative that you tell yourself about who you are and what you can do, can be gently internalized. It can be a force of certainly greater empowerment and a greater, stronger connection to the earth. I'm going to read from the guidebook about the bull. It's a very short description, and the key words are life and strength. The bull is a divine manifestation associated with the concept of Ka, which in ancient Egypt referred to the vital or spiritual force of a person or deity. The bull emphasizes the importance of your inner strength to overcome challenges and obstacles in life, or to express your creativity and potential. Your Ka can serve as a source of inspiration and fuel the creative process. It's a valuable guide during times of crucial decisions. Remember that you have an infinite reserve of possibilities and wisdom within you. So I'm hoping that this is helping to guide us in this time. I have pulled some cards from the Raven deck and will clarify with the African deck. And so for the present energy, the Eight of Swords. And this is a way of picturing the amount of ideas, the social forces, the authorities that claim to speak truth, and your sense of being bound and enwrapped, embedded in a system that is overwhelming. And that can be translated into our individual worlds. How do the many changes in our governance, the oppressive experience, force that we are experiencing in this country and in other countries, how does that complicate, obscure the right path forward for us? And this shows me that you are paying attention. You're paying attention to everything that's happening in the world, and you're filtering it as needs must through not only your ability to control what you ingest or consume, but also through your intellect, right? You can decide what is valuable, what is truthful, what is intended to obscure the truth. And so there is a place in which you feel bound, but it also indicates, because of the wealth of information we are surrounded by, a sense of lack of clarity, confusion, overthinking, overanalyzing, being too much in your head. And I don't think any of you would deny that times seem to call for this furious, constant search for what is real through the amount of information we ingest every day. In the past, the Five of Cups is speaking about a different kind of embodiment, or the Five of Pentacles, I'm sorry. This is talking about the ways many of us have understood that the patterns of behavior, of the systems in our life, the basis on which we've made decisions for ourselves have not worked in our favor, have not gotten us unstuck or moved us onto a path that we recognize may be better for us. However, it's not for want of trying. And part of what is the lethargy some of you may be feeling right now is a way in which your experiences of disappointment, failure, heartbreak have become muscle memory. It isn't that you haven't learned how to make better decisions, how to identify the path and projects, relationships that are potentially a better match for you, that are capable of joining into the work that you see as important. But this is about the residue of sadness, physical exhaustion, weariness, loneliness that many of you carry as a result of so many broken promises, so many betrayals, so many heartbreaks, that the sense of never being the one kind of carries through even as you understand ways in which there is a falsity to some of that, a falsity that you once engaged in, not understanding that you're the only one that can give yourself what you need. It doesn't mean that you haven't lost relationships because of the clarity that I believe many of you are seeing in a new way, in a way that is uh, less judgmental, less angry than perhaps when you first began to be clued into the fact that the story that has been given, the expectations others have, are, are not for you, were never for you. In the future, the World card. This is very beautiful, very positive, and I think it is underscoring this idea of patience, that the process of releasing so much, authenticating one's own power in the face of others that are declaring their power through oppression, is something that you are finally able to close out. Not just the patterns of behavior that have hurt you, that have kept you stuck, that have blocked you, but really all of the emotional residue of that, because you've made friends with your shadow self. You have worked with your unconscious. You are aware of your physical triggers, the emotions that indicate to you what you're afraid of. And you now have learned how to work with that energy in order to confront those fears, to look at things that make you nervous or that you doubt you're capable of. So this is actually almost a portal. In fact, it is a portal to this new world we are declaring with the solar eclipse coming in with the new moon in Aquarius, issuing in a series of eclipses that are speaking very specifically to the new world that we are creating, that we are now capable of creating, a global consciousness in the face of this sense of a traditional hierarchy, a traditional kingdom, royalty, leadership in the old-fashioned way that deified an individual or an individual family as elevated, knowing better, knowing more. Uh, this is a world in which every individual has the opportunity to lead in collaboration with their community, their communities. I'm going to clarify this, and instead of starting with the present, I'd like to start the clarification with the past. So the Five of Pentacles here is clarified by the Temperance and the Seven of Wands. Lovely. So this is really about a very, very long healing process that you have been engaged with for some time. You have long ago begun to understand that the things that weren't working for you were actually choices you were making that ended up working against you. So you have long understood that you have control over your reality. You can be responsible for a pathway that supports you, that excites, invigorates you, and leads you to produce the kind of results and comfort, security that can exist in such a world. The Seven of Wands indicates that there's a certain amount of rawness to this process that you've been undergoing. Healing is like a physical healing. There's a period where the wounds are being tended to and healed, but there's still a scab. There's still discomfort around that area. There's still perhaps some anger, some resentment, some sense of awful sadness at being hurt or betrayed in such a way, usually by loved ones. And as a result of this, we defend ourselves. In creating sacred space, there is a level of what we feel is necessary defensiveness. We don't want to let in the same energies that we're learning to exclude. It doesn't mean those people need to go away forever, but it does mean that the change relationships needs time for you to calibrate your own space, which you are prioritizing in order to exercise your gift, the gift that you are now allowing to unfold. In the present, the Eight of Swords is clarified by the Six of Cups and the Six of Wands. Nice. Sixes are lovely cards about balance. They represent the central Zephyr on the tree of life, beauty, grace. The sixes here are really talking about the way in which you are refreshing, reinvigorating connections, positive connections from the past. So I'm seeing you being very successful at leveraging those things that you identify as talents and strengths, areas where you are comfortable, where you are joyful, where you are playful, where you are highly productive. So this shows me that in terms of absorbing what's occurring in the world today, in whatever way you do, that you are making positive inroads in your community in terms of those relationships that you work with day in and day out. And this is about a level of authenticity that allows you to peel back some of the layers of defensiveness that have accrued not currently, but through a lifetime where you gave with a sincere expectation that someone else would give back to you. Perhaps a project, a job that you felt really good and successful at that did not reward or recognize you is another example. So this isn't just about relationships. This can be about your passions, your gifts, and how you express them productively. And it shows that you are calibrating this new awareness of your authentic self in relationship with people, making that appear as though relationships with folks are ones that you're now measuring, you're now determining, you're now feeling your way through what is enough, what is not enough, and when is it okay to be silent? When do I not need to explain my actions, my feelings, my thoughts? When am I overgiving? And when am I allowed to simply participate as one of a group of others, understanding clearly what my role is and my ability to accomplish that goal. And that is gaining you a lot of respect, admiration from those with whom you work that are really seeing you embody this idea that I am of a collective, I am of a team, I am of a group, I am a peer among others, but I am also unique. I am also original to me. I'm also authentic to me. And what I do with as much integrity, honoring both as I can. In the world, in the future, clarified by Justice and the Ace of Wands. Lovely. So this is really powerful because not only are you balancing out many of the most important experiences in your life, you are absolutely moving along the spectrum of, in some ways, victimhood, And I don't mean that as a sign of your passivity. I mean that as a way in which, for example, as children, whatever our experiences were, we were not in a position to make choices and decisions that were in our best interest. We were subject to the decisions of others. They weren't always in our best interest. And we have learned through our lives to identify those things that have been hurtful, that have been traumatic, and we've learned to find the power within ourselves to address those. So this is about a balancing of work that you've already put in, time that you've already devoted to understanding better who you are and your self-worth, your self-value, that would disallow you from being disrespected in a way that you had little or no control over as a child. And so I'm clarifying the term victim to empowerment, the spectrum that you are on. Not simply empowerment, but understanding that you are in a position to advocate for others who are in a similar situation or position. Advocate, identify with, join together, recognize a collective power that you have. And this is all part of the portal of a new world that you're entering into with the Ace of Wands. Your whole energy is towards growing, continuing to grow into the new world that you see as possible. You're experiencing the destruction of what we once thought was impossible every day. Things that you could have never imagined are true. And that is both positively and negatively, but the energy is neutral. The power, the ability to break through, to get over, to move to a different level of awareness as a collective body is greatly enhanced, and you are all about it. You're all for it. You can't wait to grow into this new energy that surrounds us in the world and that surrounds you in your life, in your body. Your ability to know that you have the courage, the passion, the intelligence to evolve with the changes that are occurring in the world. I'm going to finish this reading with a crystal oracle, and what flipped immediately is the moonstone, and I think that's the only one that flipped. And so this reads, cycles as the key. I'm in the divine flow of my soul rhythms and life cycles. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I enjoy your comments. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, namaste.